Jayson Tatum will never win MVP, and it's not his fault. Before I start this video, I am not a hater. Do I dislike a majority of Boston fans? Of course, who doesn't? But I like Jayson Tatum a lot, and I especially like the Celtics team. But with the recent history of the MVP award, it is very hard to say Jayson Tatum fits the MVP prototype according to the voters. And that's the big problem, the voters. Deserving the award means nothing if you don't fit certain criteria. Let's look at the past 6 MVP winners. In 2022, Jokic put up ridiculous generational numbers all around, carrying a trash Nuggets roster to the 6th seed. In 2021, Nikola Jokic led his team to the 3 seed, putting up numbers that we have never seen before from someone from the center position. In 2019 and 2020, Giannis Antetokounmpo led his team to the 1 seed, averaging pretty much 29 and 13. In 2018, James Harden led his team to the 1 seed, averaging crazy numbers. And then in 2017, Westbrook led his team to the playoffs with the Thunder having a terrible roster, averaging a triple-double for the first time since Oscar Robertson. Now you might be wondering what makes Jayson Tatum different from all of these players, to the point that it is near impossible to win the most valuable player award. Well, here are 3 constants that show why Jayson Tatum is unlikely to win it. Reason number 1, you have to be a borderline top 5 player in the whole league. Now, this is the reason I'm least confident in because for one, in 2021, when Jokic won his first MVP, I, along with many others, had Jokic closer to that 8 through 10 spot in the league rather than top 5. But statistically, you definitely could argue it. But I wouldn't be mad if you disagreed with this reason because Jayson Tatum can definitely be a top 5 player in the league. I mean, 3 games into the season, Jayson Tatum is averaging 35, 8, and 3 on 70% true shooting percentage, but I don't think that Tatum will gain the respect of the voters as a top 5 caliber player for at least another couple years. And you might be wondering, well, why can't he win it in a couple years? And that brings us to the second reason. Reason number 2, storyline. If the voters for MVP were anything like me, then they probably get more excited to watch an NBA team if there's something different about them compared to the previous season. And from the looks of it, this is exactly what they do, as the MVP award rarely goes to the best NBA player. I mean, in 2017, the OKC Thunder had just lost Kevin Durant, so Russell Westbrook had to carry the team by himself to the playoffs with that terrible roster of his. In 2019, Giannis took a leap and a half when it came to his basketball skills as he carried the Bucks from the 7th seed with 44 wins to the number 1 seed in the East with 60 wins, which was the first time the Bucks have gotten 60 wins since 1981, almost 40 years. Nikola Jokic was never known as a scorer, but in 2021 he took a massive leap, increasing his points per game from 20 to 27. He had a 2,000 point, 1,000 rebound, and 500 assist season. He was 5th in total points, 1st in total rebounds, and 6th in total assists for the season. Just a remarkable storyline. And I honestly just don't see Tatum putting up numbers that would impress me to the extent that I'd have him taking a whole leap, especially throughout an 82-game season. And it isn't even me hating. I mean, the man was all NBA first team last season. He averaged 27 points per game and was a great defender. And was a great defender for the 2nd best team in the East. And he didn't get a single 1st place vote, 2nd place vote, or 3rd place vote. And there was honestly a good storyline with the mid-season comeback. So if that isn't a good enough storyline for Jayson Tatum, I really don't know what can be. But let's move on to the most important reason. The 3rd reason as to why Jayson Tatum will never win MVP is Jaylen Brown. Personally, I think Jayson Tatum is a lot better than Jaylen Brown, but a lot of people think it's closer than it really is. And that's fine if you think that, I don't care, but if the public thinks that there's an actual debate there between Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, the voters will never give you MVP. I mean, think about the last 6 MVPs I just named. The only one who was even remotely close to having a teammate who can, I guess, be the same level is Chris Paul. But if we're just being honest, the NBA was just giving Harden a makeup MVP for giving the 2017 one to Westbrook. There is a big gap between Giannis and Middleton. There's a big gap between Jokic and Jamal Murray. A big gap between Westbrook and Oladipo. And even though I'm not very high on Jaylen Brown, he is still very young and only getting better. Even if the Boston Celtics won 60 games, I mean, the Utah Jazz did nearly that with Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. Neither of them won MVP. The Suns won 64 games. Devin Booker didn't win MVP because Chris Paul was next to him. I think Jaylen Brown needs to either leave or get traded for Jayson Tatum to really have a chance to prove he can be MVP. So how can Jayson Tatum win the award? Well, Jaylen Brown would need to leave the Boston Celtics. Jayson Tatum would need to carry the Celtics to a top seed in the East, and he would need to be good enough to be a certified top 5 player in the league. I think he probably will deserve an MVP in the future, but there's honestly nothing wrong with not having an MVP by the end of your career. Many greats don't have one, and people still respect them and don't really hold that against them. I mean, as I said in this video, it is a narrative-driven award that doesn't show who's the best player in the league. This video might end up being a terrible take if he does win one, but I would want to see it. Jayson Tatum has so much potential to be an all-time great. I actually do hope I'm wrong. If y'all enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe. I would love to hit 1,000 subscribers ASAP, and comment what videos you want to see next, and peace.